When you touched on communication and you mentioned that people don't talk about, let's say, for example, the genetics of financials, the credit history, do you want children? How you gonna, if you want them, how you gonna raise them? What do you think are some of the gaps that are happening in people's lives to prevent effective communication in their relationships?
Well, good question. First off, particularly when you're speaking with our partner, and we're trying to deal with some issue or whatever, I would spend some time trying to teach my clients how to speak objectively. Okay, the point is, the question is, what does it look like? Um, you know, it's one thing to say to your spouse, you know, well, first off, how do you say it? You know, if you go, well, you start out that way, forget it. Anything that comes out of your mouth after that is not going to be heard. Okay. Um, so you have to make sure you don't lose, as we call it, lose the message in the medium. So if you're going to raise your voice, make a face, and so on, you can almost forget about what you're going to have to say because it's not going to be well received. So first you have to understand how you're going to send this message. Okay. So once you say, dear, um, frankly, one of the things I taught my couples is to make an appointment, right? Not ambush your partner, but make an appointment. Wife comes home from the market or work or whatever. And I remember I had one case. Wife comes home from work, opens the door, walks in, and the husband has got the checkbook out and said, "There's another damn check missing in this checkbook." You know, and of course, she basically said, you could put that checkbook where the sun don't shine. Um, well, of course, if on the other hand, the husband had said, "Oh dear, nice to see you home. By the way, maybe after dinner, could we talk about how we're dealing with our checkbook or whatever?" See, now there's a much better chance that things are going to get resolved. So the delivery is important. And then another important piece is again, what does it look like? I would have a lot of couples, you know, argue or get in trouble with speaking in abstract terms instead of concrete terms. Like, the wife might say, why can't you be nicer? Okay. Well, and most husbands many times will say, "What are you talking about? I'm as nice as the next guy." You know. Well, and then I might say, if I'm doing a session, well, Dolores, what is it that you mean by being nicer? And sometimes she'd say, "Well, being warm, being, and then I'd say, if Joe was doing something and you looked at that and saw that and you said to yourself, "Oh, that is being nice. What would that look like?" And then she thought about it for a minute and she said, "Oh, hold my hand while we're walking." And I said, "Oh, so if Joe holds your hand while you're walking, you view that as a nice behavior." And she said, "Yes." Okay. Now, do you see the difference?